third night in a row. Oh my god. Yeah, so third night of book reviews because I felt so guilty for not having a book review in the last year and a half, essentially. Well, you know, the two that randomly popped up, but I'm not counting that time as being the soonest or whatever. Anyways, book review for tonight is going to be another installment of a series that I reviewed the first book, but I haven't done the rest. So that is going to be the young adult series of Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. We're going to be looking at Pretties, which is the second book, in which we return to the dystopian world in which everyone is so highly dependent on technology it makes us look good when we're on our cell phones and our tablets and computers, and essentially the fact we just look really good compared to living on this grid. So we return to that. We have Tally again. This time she's now perfect, everything that she always wanted before she learned that it's okay to be ugly, until she gets this mysterious message from an ugly because from the surgery her memory's wiped, so she recalls nothing at all. And then she gets this mysterious message and she starts to have a recall of memories of things going on, to the point that she remembers the side effects of becoming pretty and the surgeries of it. And then the authorities don't want her to tell people, so she is now on the run again to evade the authorities. That's basically the plot of the book. Add in a love triangle and, you know, you got typical young adult novel. So we have our characters, Tally, who is now pretty. Everything is perfect. She's sociable, happy, go lucky, in her terminology, bubbly. And she gets to party all night, sleep all day. She's got a boyfriend. She's essentially, quote unquote, perfect. We also have Shay, who is her pretty perfect friend. Zane, her pretty perfect boyfriend. And then we have David, who is her just typical ugly friend from back in the day that she had a love interest with. Yeah, that's pretty much the most quick way I could sum up the most important characters in this book. So what works with it? The language of the Pretties that is used is so mind-numbing, it's perfect. They are essentially in a lifestyle in which you're careless, not really careless, but you're carefree, you don't have to worry about anything, you just get to have fun, be sociable, have the best friends, everything's just happy. And so with that goes into the idea that obviously you have to have the most mind-numbing language to go with the most carefree lifestyle that Westerfeld decided to imagine for the pretty life. And then we also have the fact that because this is a young adult novel and it does touch well onto the fact of what I would classify as what most young girls go through when they're in their teenage phase at least, that it's very relatable. And I can say this mainly because, guys, I'm a girl. I have some lip stain on, I have mascara and some eyeliner. I don't do too much, and here I am talking a book about being pretty and altering your image to be considered perfect or pretty or something along those lines. However, being a teenage girl is very confusing, as is being a teenage boy, but I'm not sure about the teenage boy part because I never went through that puberty. Female puberty, yes, I can say I went through that. And so this book touches well on it. It also touches well on the aspect of relationships that girls go through, especially kind of the dramas when they have an interest in somebody, but things aren't working out, all this weird stuff. So lots of drama that teenage girls can see a lot of the time, and so it relates really well to that. As well as that we get to experience the lifestyle of a pretty, I cannot enunciate anymore apparently. And in that experience, we essentially see what Westerfeld is considering the stereotypical perfect life of being popular, sociable, carefree, and just having an overall good time with your friends. That's what he's dreamed up, and I would say it's pretty accurate for just like the basics of it. Now, things that don't work is the fact that we do have a similar conflict with the plot line in which Tally knows something that the authorities don't want her to inform other people about, to let that word get out. So she has to basically just, save herself and make sure she doesn't get caught and have her memory wiped again. And essentially it's the first book just revamped and she's now pretty with some new language. yeah. Also, we have the relationship issues. We have a love triangle in this story, which, kind of off topic, but has anyone actually, like, thought of what a love triangle technically should be? Like, here's a triangle, you know, we've got 3 sides to it, 3 points that are connected, and so you have person A, person B, and person C. Person A likes B, B likes C, and C should like A. However, what always ends up happening in what is considered a love triangle is that A likes B, and C likes B, and either B likes both A and C, or B likes only A or C. Maybe it should be called a love carrot, or maybe a love B? I don't know, we're just missing that 3rd line, though. So, after some food for thought with that, back to the problem with it, though, is the fact that we have Tally having this love triangle between Zane and David, the new boyfriend who's pretty and her love interest who's ugly. Like, what does she do? How does she handle it? Kind of gets tiring after a while, and me going through a lot of relationships, not a lot, but a decent number. I've just never pick one and move on. That's just my opinion most times. And then the other thing is that, well, it kind of ties in actually. I just want to knock sense into Tally's head and into some of these Pretties' heads, that it's like, this is not life, this is fake, this is not real. And try and, like, knock sense into it or give advice to make their lives easier. And that's probably just because I've read this book when I was at least out of the teenage phase. I was in college, so on the later end of it. So I experienced enough to, technically be able to give good advice and wisdom. So overall, if you can get past the mind-numbing language that the Pretties use, along with the love triangle and some of the drama, then you can read this book. It's a good setup for the 3rd book, and it's just a fun read. You could probably do it in a day if you really just sit down and enjoy it for what it is. If you want to maintain your brain cells and don't want to struggle through the frustrations that you most likely could have with this book, don't go near it. Just don't. I have seen too many people that when they read this book, they get so fed up with the pretty language that that's all they have to say is, the language just is so awful for them that they can't stand it, and it's like, well, yeah, it's part of the story. So if you don't want to stand that, then just don't go near it unless you want to make it a challenge. And yeah, if you guys have read Pretties, let me know down below if you had the same opinions, or if you didn't have the same opinions. Just remember, these are all opinions. It's not truth or false. Is that true or false? There we go. It's, everyone has their own opinions. That's just how life is. And yeah, make sure to hit subscribe down below, so that way if I post a video on a random day, you will know. And be sure to follow my Facebook, because I also post over there. If you follow my Instagram, you'll see tons of pictures of my cat, now video, because that's a thing there. And then we also have G+, and we have Twitter, and anything else, my Goodreads, all this stuff. You guys tend to go to my Goodreads a lot, too. But, yeah, also remember to check out Ocean of Bees. Those guys are pretty fun. A lot of them actually do, gameplay videos, but some of them do have reviews as well, so check them out, and subscribe to them if they're of interest to you. And, yeah, that's basically it. So you guys have a great night, and remember, don't feed the trolls, because that's never any good. Yep. Night, you guys.